You are now watching Zacklessage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Zacklessage here, word up. Today we're going to be covering over Decidueye. Now I know this is a deck that a lot of people hate to face, but maybe you're the type of player who wants to actually play it, or learn more about what this deck can do, what it can't do, etc, etc. So this video will be covering over my deck list. I think my deck list is based off of the version that Caitlin was able to come second at the Limitless Major about a few weeks ago. I mean, time's been flying lately. Lots of uploads, lots of great things going on. So shout out to them for this list or anyone else that they worked with. That being said, it's one of those things where we're going to be covering everything. Check the list out in the description. You can copy and paste that right along while you're watching this video out. While you're there, feel free to check out some of the stuff. I'm not wearing a Zacklessage merch tee. I'm wearing this vintage Garchomp Nationals t-shirt today, but feel free to pick up a Zacklessage t-shirt. It does help support me as a content creator. If that's not your vibe, feel free to give this video a like. You can subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 4,800, 200 away from our goal of 5,000 before August. So that'd be amazing if we could get there. I have a huge surprise plan for when we get to 5,000. So tell your friends we want to get there sooner than later so we can start planning. And then leave a comment below. Let me know, do you like Decidueye or do you hate Decidueye? Comments really help boost the algorithm. So feel free to spark a discussion. Talk about whatever you want. Just be like, yo, Zach, I hate your haircut. I love your vids. You suck at Pokemon. Whatever you want to talk about, let me know. That being said, we are going to jump into the deck list and see what's poppin'. Let's get over there. So looking at this deck list, you got Decidueye, and you're trying to evolve into Decidueye. The Pokemon line is basically trying to get you there. So what Decidueye does with Deep Forest camos is it blocks all V, VMAX, and GX attacks from hitting it. There's not an easy way to shut off Deep Forest camo, so really you either have a Pokemon that goes through Deep Forest camo or you don't. That's basically how a lot of the matchups go. Are you packing that Volcanion in your Victini deck? Are you packing that Baby Necrozma from Unified Minds in your Shadow Rider deck? Do you have a bunch of Phoebes? Yes or no? That's really how Decidueye wins games. Sure, Decidueye might be a little bit more skillful than that in a nutshell. Splitting Arrow does require you to place damage counters, and I think when you have multiple decisions when it comes to attack, it's a lot easier to do something like that than go Max Geist with Shadow Rider Calyrex. Like, it's very difficult to choose the Pokemon you want to put the 20 damage on. In a lot of cases, it might not matter. So, what does this mean for us? We're basically trying to get this low Rowlet, and of course, the shiny one is not the best one, or at least not the best in this list. We don't have the Bird Keeper, so we don't want to use the Sky Circus one. You have Dartrix going into Decidueye. So basically, Rowlet, evolve, evolve. You can use Rare Candy in the process too, if that's something that comes up. And you have Snorlax to draw cards with Gourmandize. So you draw cards with Gourmandize. If your opponent's trying to do some kind of Marnie strategy to deck you out, or to avoid getting deck out or bringing the game to a tie, you could yank out cards from their hands and just rip their hands to shreds so that strategy does not work. Lots of the time you'll probably win the game anyways, but maybe not in time. So if you're playing this deck for a tournament, the Aipom's really good. Mew is going to stop other Pokemon like your other Rowlets and stuff from getting sniped or anything else like that. So should be pretty good overall. Nothing crazy going on this list. Of course, we have Ordinary Rods to get things back, Rare Candies to evolve quickly. Scoop Up Net's an interesting card here. It's used as kind of like our switching mechanism, so make sure that you're not putting too many Snorlaxes down or anything else like that. There's a certain point where once you have a Decidueye or two out, and you're able to go over your opponent's techs and counter your opponent's techs that could actually attack Decidueye, then that's really where you just try to Scoop Up Net everything else. So there's the Scoop Up Net there, not the Rare Candy. You see, I'm the greatest at clicking cards. Scoop Up Net things that your opponent can knock out that are no longer valuable in play. Turffield makes the deck a little bit more consistent. We're running off a Tag Call engine because you could directly search things out. If your opponent's not able to one-shot you, you can go with Malolana. And I mean, Rosa, once your Pokemon gets knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you're searching for that Pokemon Trainer card, basic energy. So spoon-feeding yourself everything that you need. Big Parasol is really where you can stop a lot of things. So there's attacks like, how do I put it? Shadow Rider Calyrex, the V, not the V Max, can go 50-50, spreading some damage counters. That's an effective an attack. We could stop that. There's other things where there's effective attacks that Big Parasol can just stop that randomly come up. Then you also have Stealthy Hood, so if they have any abilities that can go through things, read that as like Inteleon, Stealthy, or other things that Stealthy Hood, of course, could stop. It can stop things. We have things to stop special conditions, and then we have enough energies to really make it work. Nothing like crazy. I'm sure when it comes to creating a list comparatively to other decks, that's really where it's going to come off. There are versions of Decidueye that do run Inteleon. That's something that I do plan on covering in the future as I try to uncover every single deck in the Chilling Reign metagame. It's really one of those things where Decidueye is just going to do Decidueye things. So in our gameplay, we're going to either hit decks that play counters or decks that don't play counters. We'll see what we hit on the latter. So Decidueye, one thing that I do want to explain before we jump into the gameplay. When Decidueye does well at a tournament out of nowhere, typically it's a group that plans upon the metagame and they're like, I don't think anyone's been playing Decidueye for a while. No one's really running counters. Let's spike this event. That's really what happened at the Limitless Major. So the deck goes from 0, spikes all the way to the top, gets a bunch of top placements. Decidueye decks made like 4 to the top 8 spots at the Limitless event. So it spikes all the way to the top where it's super playable. That's really when most people are like, yo, Decidueye is good again? I'm gonna play Decidueye. It still sees success at a lesser level. So it was up here. It sees success at a lesser level because people are now starting to add techs into their deck. And then there's people who are like, wow, Decidueye is seeing a lot of success. That's really where it dips down because people are teching for Decidueye. So right now, if you look at my videos, a lot of my decks have Aegislash, Phoebes, counters to Decidueye. If you look at my top 10 decks from the past week, at the time of this video, you can totally see that decks have all the counters. So that's when this deck spikes down. So it's really one of those things where Decidueye is not the greatest play right now. It's an acceptable play, and it's a metagame call. Remember that Decidueye is a metagame call. It is not a normal deck within our top 10. So at some point, it's going to dip all the way down to the bottom. But that when it comes to the bottom, it has to, of course, come to the top when people stop playing the techs. So Decidueye continuously rides the wave. If you understand what I'm trying to get, you can see that I have these cool dance moves. So that's really where Decidueye is going to be vibing. Right now, I think it's all the way at the bottom, which means this is the perfect time to showcase the video, because if it spikes up to the top, you have access to a great Decidueye list, understand what's going on, and realize that it can be a real threat. So maybe as everyone's cutting those techs out of their deck, it might be a good idea in the next week or two to add them back into your deck so that you do not get taken off guard by Decidueye. No one likes losing when you can't do anything, and Decidueye likes winning just by existing alone. So let's jump into some gameplay, see exactly what's popping. So we're gonna go the coin flip here, and we lost the coin flip. Let's see what our opponent flips up. A lot of it can be decided by like, what do they have going on here? Our hand's not like terrible, so I'm cool with this. Let's start with Rowlet. Of course, that's the only Pokemon we could start with. If I had a hunch, our opponent's playing URSHIFU Inteleon. Just based off their deck box, something can be said pretty easily about that. Their Inteleon can attack us, which makes for quite a difficult matchup. So I'm going to go Capture Energy, goes here. We're going to go Capture Energy, search through our deck. Make sure we thoroughly search this deck. You can sometimes find random things. We do want to grab Mew in this matchup. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead, grab the Snorlax so we can draw into some more cards. Let's go Level Ball, search our deck for Mew. And then I'm just going to go ahead here and go for Malolana, switching into a Snorlax. So this is going to allow us to get set up, and we're just going to go Gormandize. I don't want to pitch his hand away. We have a lot of valuable resources. So as long as our opponent does not have Boss, we could be chilling, more or less. That's where we're at. So again, we got to watch out for our opponent's Inteleon if they do play, again, the Inteleon build. I haven't seen a Sobble, don't know exactly what's going on. Those are Pokemon, if they do come out, we do want to isolate them. It can be quite difficult for us. And maybe they're just going to go with, like, URSHIFU. I can't tell if the water's for, like, Octillery. Okay, so there is an Inteleon and an Ordinary Rod. We want to deal with less Inteleon throughout the entire game. They can basically attack with the Rapid Strike one, and we have to attack it twice. So we're really searching for things like Stealthy Hood, just trying to avoid things. Now, while I do play at the gameplay portion of this, in any of these games, it's a real chance that our opponent plays a lot of techs, or they do not. If they do not, there's a chance that they might not be able to attack. And we might see some concessions, or we might just see our opponent play a bunch of different attacks. Like, Inteleon decks are not really what we want to hit. It's one of those things where Decidueye is taking a little bit of a back burner, but we'll see exactly how it goes. We could still isolate their Pokemon and see exactly what's popping there. Okay, so we did get out a rare candy for the Decidueye. So we're vibing there. We want to start attacking these Pokemon as soon as possible. Now, how do we start attacking these Pokemon as soon as possible? That's really where everything comes down from. Cynthia Caitlin can get us back at Malolana. I firmly think that Malolana is great. So let's go Cynthia Caitlin. We're going to draw 3 cards. Maybe we'll be able to find a way out of the active spots. Start getting our attacks off. So we didn't get anything there. We have Capture Energy. Now, if our opponent does play something like Fan of Waves, which is quite possible, we are going to go Capture Energy on this Decidueye for a Rowlet. Now, we want to get a Rowlet out just in case anything happens to our first one. Our hand's a little bit yikes with the double Ordinary Rod. We don't want to get back the Snorlax. We have 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not worthwhile for me to shuffle the card back for me to get anything else. So I'm going to have to go ahead here and pass, giving our opponent another turn. We're really looking for a way to find a Grass Energy, because next turn we can't even attack with Splitting Arrow effectively because we don't have the Grass Energy. So we're on top deck mode. If we get the Grass Energy, I don't have to pitch the hand away with Research. If we do not, it's going to be a little bit awkward. And of course, we do have to deal with what our opponent can eventually evolve into. If they do play a second Quick Shooting, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they play more than one Ordinary Rod. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Okay, they're going to play Marnie. Marnie could be great for us. That means we actually don't have to pitch the Ordinary Rod at all. I'd be super happy if our opponent played a Marnie here. And our opponent probably just sees like 8 cards in our hands. They don't want to give us those options. Maybe they can catch us on some off things. So we do know for a fact now that they do play another copy of Sharpshooting. And that's going to stop us a little bit. We just need to get set up and be able to attack the Sharpshooting. That's really where it's going to come down to, the damage counters. So we got to get ready with our boss's orders, all that good stuff. Now, we do have access to the Scoop Up Nets. I think that's going to be quite helpful. And we got the Grass Energy. Let's go. I'm going to go Cynthia Caitlin here. And actually, I don't care about the Snorlax at all. So I'm going to go Grass Energy here. Actually, I don't care about the Aipom more. So let's go Cynthia Caitlin. We're going to discard the Aipom because we don't care about the Aipom. There's nothing in our discard pile, but we basically want to draw more cards. I can now go Rare Candy here, just so we can start getting set up. And I'm going to go with Scoop Up Net onto the Snorlax, so we can start attacking. Now, the Mew is going to stop the Pokemon that we can bring up, but let's go for Splitting Arrow. And I mean, it doesn't matter who we choose because the Mew's bench barrier is the same as our bench barrier. We're just in a whole position where we're doing 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. You can see that that's definitely a mouthful. So I wouldn't be surprised if our opponent now went to go get out an Inteleon so they could start place. It's kind of a weird card to put away. Maybe they're going, okay. The Inteleon that they're trying to put down is quite good. Yeah, I don't know why they put the Inteleon away. What they're searching for directly. It's kind of an awkward kind of game when it comes to the Decidueye. That being said, it doesn't necessarily matter. We got Inteleon that can start placing damage counters. I can get a Guzmahala and try to get things set up as quickly as possible. Maybe they play Phoebe. Phoebe could certainly be a thing. Now, they did lose their other... Oh, did they lose? Oh, they have double Rapid Strike. Okay, so they played triple. This is actually going to be quite difficult for us to deal with. Now, one thing to note, there are down 2 Rapid Strike energies. something we got to deal with. The Mew here doesn't really even matter if we're able to attack into their Inteleons. Not sure exactly what's going on here. So they're just going to go Gale Thrust there. That's fine. We only play the one... what's it called? The one Stealthy Hood. So we're going to go like this. I mean, there's no reason not to grab a Turfield. At this rate, I'm not sure if they want to start attacking. So I'm going to go ahead and, I guess, Stealthy Hood onto this Pokemon. Probably gives me the best chance. Let's go ahead and attach an energy to this Decidueye. I'm going to go ahead and grab a Rowlet because they don't have a lot of prize cards left in play. And let's go ahead and Splitting Arrow. It doesn't matter. I wish the Mew just automatically shut things off. But basically it's going to be a race against their quick shooting with the amount of cards that they have left in their deck. And will they eventually be able to attack us with Waterfall? Waterfall two-shots us. We've used one of our Malolanas. Now, if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn, maybe they'll knock us out, give us access to a Rosa. That would certainly be nice if we had access to Rosa. We're also doing 90 damage per turn, and they're doing 40 damage per turn. If they're able to do 110 damage per turn, that's when things can start to get a little bit dicey for us, because they could go Waterfall plus double quick shooting. 110 really adds up comparatively to what we have. And again, I'm not sure, like, I don't think they play Phoebe, but it's something that we certainly have to watch out for. They also, I'm worried that, I guess I'm not worried. One of my win cons is just them decking out. Oh, they do play Phoebe. Cool. So the fact that they play Phoebe probably means that we're going to lose this game, because we lost our Stealthy Hood, which does make it quite hard to deal with. But let's go ahead here, set up Decidueye, and I'm gonna go Rosa. Rosa grabbing. I guess I need Rare Candy, Decidueye. And let's go ahead and grab a Grass Energy. I think that's probably the best way that I could that's not a Rare Candy. Awesome. So you can see that sometimes you're going to grab the wrong card on PTCGO. So we're just going to sit here and probably lose the game because our opponent does play counters to our deck either way. You got to think about it. We're doing 90 per turn. Our opponent knocks us out in 2 turns. So we'll only be able to do 180 damage with this Pokemon. I'm going to go Turffield Stadium and Evolve. So I'm going to fix my mistake. Mistakes can certainly happen. I would love to grab the Rare Candy. Instead of Rare Candy, roast me in the comments below. That's cool. Let's go Splitting Arrow. And again, the damage is not going to add up. The Mew is really saving them a lot there, because then we could start attacking these other Pokemon, drawing other prize cards. Now, if we top deck Malolana, maybe this is fine. The biggest mistake that they might be doing is potentially decking out themselves. They have 3 cards left in their deck. I can't tell how many Marnies they have left. It's quite possible that they only have 2 copies of Marnie left. And if they attack the Mew first, it's quite possible for us just to get anything set up with the Rosa. So with the amount of prize cards that they have left, I think we actually have a chance here, just by them playing the research. When you're in a leading position where you could actually win this game, and again, they might play Pal Pad, they could play other things. They're just going to go G-Max Rapid Flow. Wow, okay. I mean, that's certainly a way to deal with the situation. Now, I'm going to go ahead here and double check my deck with Turffields. We do have another Rowlet. Our opponent is running low on things. So let's go ahead and go for a Dartrix at this rate. I think that sounds pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead, go Rosa for a Rowlet, a Rare Candy, and I'm going to grab a Grass Energy. I think that sounds really good. So we're going to go ahead and grab those, because we want to get those set up ASAP. So let's go ahead and grab those. Let's put Rowlet down. Let's put a Grass Energy on the Rowlets. And Scoop Up Net's not going to do anything. Quick Ball's not going to do anything. Let's go ahead and go Splitting Arrow again. It doesn't matter who we choose, because it's not going to be doing anything. If they go Marnie, there's a very real chance that we lose. I can't tell if they play anything more when it comes down to the Marnies. Okay. So this is really where it starts getting difficult, because they could place the other damage counter on the other Pokemon. Cool. There's Waterfall. And there's a Knockouts. So we're now in a tough spot. We don't have any Pokemon left in our deck, so we're going to thin out the Decidueye so we have a better chance at winning this game. Let's go ahead and Rare Candy into Decidueye. Now, they are 10 damage short of winning the game. If we are able to find an Ordinary Rod, I think we have a slight chance. Because I believe this is their last Rapid Strike energy, so always pay attention to your opponent's resources. They could also just win this. So if we top deck Ordinary Rod, we're in an okay spot, because we could Ordinary Rod, get back a Rowlet, and potentially survive another turn. Always pay attention to your opponent's resources when it comes to a deck like Decidueye. You might find a unique win condition. So they're probably just going to attack with Waterfall. They're thinning out their hands. Cool. Will we find a way to get back one of our basic Pokemon? So we can't find a basic Pokemon. You can see that our deck is absolutely dry. We really need to find an Ordinary Rod that turn to get another card out. So we're going to give our opponent the Well Played. We have no way to get anything. We'll play this Scoop Up Net, and by using this you may lose the game. Yes. We are definitely losing this game. We would have brought them down to 0 cards in deck. Again, not sure if they played Marnie, but it's one of those tough games. Okay, we're going to call it Coin Flip. We correctly called it again. We do want to go first. Let's see if our opponent plays a tech this game. I mean, this is certainly a hand. Depending on what we get off of the mulligan, we'll see how it can work. See what our opponent's shuffling back. Please don't be Pokemon that can attack us. Please, 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 please. So it looks like we probably hit Blissey, if I've ever seen Blissey. And Blissey can't play Phoebe, so we will definitely just draw some extra cards. Totally seems cool. We're going to Quick Ball away a Rare Candy. Search our deck for another Rowlet in case our opponent finds a way to win. I don't necessarily think that they're going to find a way to win, but they can find a way to win. We're going to go Capture Energy goes... How much can it do? 10 plus... yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and power up this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab a Snorlax just in case. And I'm going to pass. So the reason how they can knock out a Rowlet is they can have a Powerful Colorless Energy, 10 plus the 20 from Powerful Colorless Energy, plus the 30 from Blissful Blast Extra. So it's going to be doing 60 damage to a poor Rowlet. And if they just got one attached, it would just be really difficult. Now, I don't know what the odds are of that. It certainly wouldn't be fun. Now, we got to watch out for them trying to deck us out, potentially. So... Oh, they didn't have it. That's cool. Now, this is the type of deck that we should just be able to get set up against and win. So they're going to take away our energy. That's fine. I'm just going to sit there with double Rare Candy Decidueye and draw pass. Candy into a Decidueye. Rare Candy into a Decidueye. You can see that they're already thinking they lose the game, and they're going to concede because they can't do anything against Decidueye. So that's what we have going on for our video today, peeps. We got Decidueye, and I mean, your opponent's either playing counters or no counters at all. We were able to almost beat the Inteleon build. It got a little bit weird at some point, and our opponent playing 3 copies of Quick Shooting and discarding the Ordinary Rod. That's pretty not, it's not typical. It doesn't really happen that often. Very uncommon occurrence in that list. Not to make excuses or anything like that. Our opponent totally got us. Good game to our opponent. In the other game that we played, you can see that you just got set up against a BLISSEY. We got it a single Decidueye. Our opponent has no counters. We just win the game. We take the dubs. So if you're someone who's looking to counter the meta game or balling on a budget, Decidueye would certainly be a good deck. I know that I'm playing the shiny versions. The other versions are quite cheap in comparison. So you could build the deck relatively cheap in real life or online, whatever works best for you, and see how this deck works out. Again, I think it's at its low where a lot of decks are playing counters. We could have definitely hit a bunch of decks that play Aegislash or other things. I think it's going to spike up as players take those cards out of their deck, or decks that naturally play them fall a little bit in the meta game. So it's certainly a great call. See exactly what's coming on. So again, the list is in the description. Feel free to copy and paste it so you can have it for your collection so you know exactly what's going on. While you're there, check out some of the sponsors. Maybe pick up a playmat at your playmat. They're certainly sick. And then, of course, give this video a like. It does help boost the algorithm so it gets into the hands of other Pokemon fans. Subscribe to the channel. We just passed 4,800. We are less than 200 away from getting it, or we're close to passing 4,800, I should say. We're about 200 away, not less. We are about 200 away. And then let me know in the comment below, does your deck even pack a counter to Decidueye? Do you like Decidueye? Let's spark a discussion about this deck. I'm excited to talk to all y'all. I get back to the comments within a day usually, depending on how busy I am, so I'll definitely try to get back to some cool stuff. And that being said, I'll be back tomorrow with the power ranking, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome. I look forward to it every single week, so let's see exactly what's going on. Peace out, peeps. Have yourself a wonderful day. I want to give a huge shout out to everyone who's become a channel member. It's one of those things where I appreciate every single person who watches my videos, and I mean, that's really where it counts, but for the channel members, they've gone out of their way to financially support me, and I truly appreciate that gesture. It's one of those things when I started channel memberships up on my channel, and I just didn't know if anyone was ever going to do it, so I truly appreciate everyone taking the plunge, taking a leap of trust, and investing in me as a content creator. Truly makes a difference for me each and every month. If you haven't already thought about becoming a channel member, you might want to contribute to the channel, and I do put everything back into the channel to make it the best possible place to watch for Pokemon TCG content. Again, I truly appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. Cheers. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.